Calc Review Solutions number 60. Solve the quadratic inequality and graph the solution set on a number line. Express the solution set in interval notation. So we have x squared minus 6x is greater than or equal to negative 8. I don't care for this notation. I would much rather have the number 0 in that spot, so I'm going to add 8 to both sides and change it a little bit. So then I get x squared minus 6x plus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. So I know from my past experience that this is a parabola, and I just want to figure out where it's greater than or equal to 0, which is essentially where it's above the x-axis. So let me graph this. And here's our parabola, and since it said greater than or equal to 0, it would be anything that's positive, which would be this part and this part of the graph. So this means I'm going to have two different intervals when I'm done. In order to find out where these two numbers are, next thing we're going to have to do is factor it. And this one factors nicely into x minus 4 times x minus 2. And I want to think of this almost like an equation, which gives me my two values. To make this equation equal to 0, x is equal to 4 and x is equal to 2. There's my 2 and there's my 4. And remember that this graph is traveling over here to negative infinity and traveling in this side to infinity. So I'm going to group these two together, and I'm going to group these two together. So I've got negative infinity to 2, and then I've got 4 to infinity. And because of the fact that this is greater than or equal to, my numbers will have to be bracketed in. And since I never really get to positive or negative infinity, that will always be a parenthesis. I'm kind of old school. I like to go union if you want to. It's not absolutely necessary that you do that. You can just put a comma in this position right here. But that's a nice old school way to list your solution.